Hello everyone, it is now time for our next info video, which is entitled Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Battle, as you all can see. For any of you who have played this game, you know how crazy and chaotic this final battle is. And it's one of the longest final battles I've played. It's not the longest, but it is one of the longest, and it's probably due to the fact that there's so many fights that make up the entire final battle. It has probably the most fights I've ever seen in a final battle. I'm gonna try and go over some of the biggest points of how to get through this battle. I'm pretty sure that I played this on Proud Mode, and I had some of the best weapons and equipment in the game. However, just because I did, that doesn't mean the strategy will change for other players as much. It'll probably just be a little bit longer, but it's not as hard as most would think. It just takes a little bit of a skill and thinking and strategy. So don't worry if you don't have like the best equipment or all the final weapons and stuff, because it's not really necessary. This video is also pretty fast and chaotic, so if I miss anything, I apologize. That we are ready to begin. Don't worry, I'm going to be skipping all the cutscenes, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, from the get-go, you'll probably have to start out running straight for the enemy at the end, and be ready to use your action commands by pressing the triangle button. There'll be a lot of them in this battle. The first part is cutting through this building, which isn't much of a problem, and as you'll see later, we'll be cutting through more buildings as this battle opens up. Just be ready to press the reaction command. Ironically enough, this is the easiest part of the battle, cutting through buildings, I know. A little spice of Advent Children for you there. And you need to be good on this timing, because if you miss, you'll fall down to the ground and have to start over again. So just be ready for that. The last one will have Sora there jump towards the first engine of the spaceship, whatever it is. For this part, you need to hit the enemies that teleport into the arena. And as you strike them, you'll notice that they'll get sucked into the engine, okay? And when they go towards the engine, they'll damage the health bar, which is on the top right. It says the right cylinder. Now take a look at the top middle of the screen. It says charge. When that starts to fill up, you'll need to be on the ready. See, it says stunt dodge. You'll need to use the reaction command to dodge that burst of energy that comes out of the engine. Now you'll be alternating between both engines as the battle progresses, and you'll just need to keep hitting these enemies to make sure they go into the engine. And just keep an eye on the charge meter in the middle. As it starts to fill up, be ready to dodge. There'll be a timer that'll appear in the middle of the screen, so just be sure to dodge out of the way when it appears. And you'll probably have to go through this twice, because it's really tough to get it done in the first round. And I'm not quite sure what happens if you do mess up or run out of time. I don't know if you'll get killed or if it'll just heavily damage you, but either way, you don't want it to happen. And we're keeping hitting enemies. See, the timer now says for 10 seconds. That's just a sign that you have finished lowering the health of the engine, and they'll fall off the ship as you take them each out individually. Sometimes it's annoying sometimes two enemies will emerge at once, and you'll be forced to just go for one of them, and once you do, you'll try to go for the second enemy, but then all of a sudden they'll be immune to your attacks, but it's not really a big deal, so don't worry about it. Now this next part's quite easy. All you have to do is just hit the cylinder right in the middle of the room. Just keep hitting it. But as you start to lower its health, eventually a barrier will appear and you won't be able to damage it. See, like that? And when it happens, no bodies will appear in the room. Once you kill off all the no bodies, the cylinder will be invulnerable again and you'll be able to hit it. What I did, I just went into final form because I felt like it was a little bit easy, a little bit faster to take out the no bodies, but you can do whatever you want. This is mostly just, I like to think of it as filler battle. It's not really the main challenge of the final battle yet, but we're getting there, don't worry. By the way, Berserkers, my least favorite nobody ever. I hate them. Especially when they pick up their swords and you can't hit them. It gets so annoying. And we don't have much time. We're almost done. I think. Well, actually, no, we have quite a bit to go. I'm not going to be editing out much here. I'm just going to let you know what you have to do step by step as the battle progresses. But as you can see, you just have to take down the cylinder's health, and about 3 or 4 times it'll put up a shield and you won't be able to damage it. I guess we got lucky this time when we were able to go ahead and move on through the fight. Again, I'm just skipping cutscenes. Now we are against the actual foe himself. He's gonna be, you'll need to pay attention a little bit in this battle. Pay attention to when he uses his sword. Whenever he's gonna swing his sword, he'll kind of rear back and then swing it. Pay attention to that, because you'll be able to dodge it in time. Same thing for his shield here. It's probably the most annoying attack he has, is that little square shield that he emits. See how he swooped his sword, and I dodged it like that? So just be on the lookout for both his sword attack and his shield attack, because if they hit you, it seems to be the most damaging attacks, but you can easily avoid them if you have the dodge, if you have the dash ability. And I failed that time. You'll also be using other attacks that will be familiar to what the attacks the other Organization 13 members used. They're not really a huge concern here. Just be sure to keep attacking him whenever you have an opening. It'll just make things go faster. And don't hesitate to use Kiraga if you have to. It's better to be safe than sorry. And if you absolutely must have to use, you can use an item as well if you want. I wouldn't worry too much about Donald or Goofy in this scenario. They help, especially Donald with his healing spells, but they're not going to be the ones dealing the most damage anyway. We are now about to the halfway point of the battle. This next part I felt like was just the most annoying. Some people think it's pretty cool, but I never really enjoyed this part. Anyway, there are going to be 3 new options at the bottom left called Drain, Laser, and Attack. The Drain is going to be nice because when you press circle, you'll be able to absorb those lasers that those enemies shoot at you. See, like that? And as they shoot at you, your energy bar on the top left will fill up. And when it fills up all the way, you'll be able to use a super attack called Mega Laser, which was just used a few seconds ago. When you use that attack, be sure the thing you're aiming for is relatively in the middle of the screen. In this case, it's this enemy's tail. Just make sure it's roughly in the middle of the screen. That way you can use maximize your damage output. Another thing of note, as the enemies are swooping in, keep pressing the laser button, and Riku will shoot lasers from the ship towards the enemies, and those lasers are homing beams, so they'll track down the enemies no matter where they are, so it's probably the best thing you can use. Now sometimes enemies like the ones you see in there will appear in the foreground. Really the only best way to get them out of the way is to use the attack command, and Sora will swing his Keyblade and hit those enemies. However, I think the most effective one is just to keep using laser, because if you're right in front of the enemies and you press laser, you'll hit them anyway. So I rarely use attack most in these cases. The things you'll be targeting will be the tail, the 2 engines, the wings, and then I think that's it, and then it'll move on to the next fight. Now notice here that the lasers pop out, and then finally some little missiles that you'll see in a second. The best way to avoid these, as I've noticed, is just to move in a circle around the screen. You may have saw it just a few seconds ago, but it'll appear again when we move on to the next engine. Again, just keep using laser and drain constantly to absorb the enemy's attacks and to attack them, so that you can deal as much damage as possible. Now here's the laser. See, just move in a circle. I think I get hit once or twice, but it's better. It's probably the best technique I've noticed is just to keep moving a circle around the screen like that to avoid those attacks. Now we're moving on to the wings. These are a little bit harder to target with the Mega Laser attack. Just absorb the enemy's attacks to boost your energy, and just use Mega Laser. If you're pretty powerful. You may be able to take out each part individually in one fell swoop. I was lucky there. I was able to take them out in one fell swoop, but that's because my characters are way over leveled. If you're not over leveled, you'll probably have to do it like twice in order to destroy each part. Yeah, I got hit there, but again, I think the best maneuver is just to go around in a circle like that. I think that we have, this is the last part, just this last wing. By the way, those pink lasers that kind of move like a fluid beam or something, those will really boost your energy, so make sure to drain those whenever you can. And there, we're done with this scenario. We're almost done. We have, I think, like 2 more fights to go.